Good afternoon, everyone. It's May 2nd, 2019. I'm Eric. I'm here at DC Clothesline. American Injustice: admitted child rapist gets no jail time while a cancer patient faces years for cannabis use. Editor's note. Our justice system is badly out of balance, and I think that's a fucking understatement. I mean, after all, if it takes a library to hold all the laws that exist within your nation, you can't really claim to be free, can you? This is not news to anyone who's paying attention. Matt Argus shows us just another glaring example of American injustice. A bus driver who raped a student gets a slap on the wrist, while a dying man may go to prison for trying to ease his own suffering. What's wrong with this picture? This happened in Watertown, New York. Now, I live in a pretty backwards place, South Carolina, part of the Bible Belt, and I'm not knocking people who want to believe in the Bible. That's up to you. You should know, though. You should know where that stuff comes from. This week, Shane Pinchet, a school bus driver, pleaded guilty to raping a 14-year-old girl who rode his bus. Last year, Pinchet lured the child to his home after school, where he gave her alcohol before raping her. He admitted to the fact of this case, yet the legal system, which is ostensibly in place to protect society's most vulnerable, didn't give him so much as a slap on the wrist. And no, it's really not put in place to protect society's most vulnerable. It instead is put in place to protect society's wealthy and their cronies. For this act, Pinchet will serve or spend the next 10 years on probation, but he won't see a single day behind bars. A terrifying notion indeed. I'm not real crazy about the word terrifying, but yeah, it's pretty bad, don't you think? I mean, look, 2016, my house gets raided for marijuana. And they made sure they fucking destroyed my life, even without sending me to prison. Which, most people don't go to prison for marijuana anymore. Most people. At least not down here. You've got to be moving some serious shit down here to and get any kind of real jail time out of it, prison time. However, they do fucking make sure they ruin you. They make it impossible for you to find employment. It really does make your life a nightmare once the state gets involved in any way. It doesn't even have to be a criminal justice issue. It could be something totally different, like the Green Police. But no matter what, when they get involved in your life, things get very ugly. In quotes, I wish Shane Pinchet would have received time in jail for the harm he caused to my child. He took something from my daughter she will never get back and has caused her to struggle with depression and anxiety, the victim's mother said after hearing the judge's ruling. The judge should be hung for that one. Here we have a man who admitted to luring a child to his home, essentially drugging her with alcohol, and then raping her, and he will not spend a day in jail. And by the way, if you think probation is some kind of punishment, in part it is. But down here where I live, they started giving people IQ tests. And if you score high enough on the IQ test, they just leave you alone. They don't ever contact you. I know because I took that IQ test and I made a very high score on it, and I've not been bothered by the Department of Probation and Parole since the results of that test came back, with a side issue of being rearrested almost 3 years later for the same thing. I had to prove that they weren't new charges. Other than that, I've not had any contact with them. No drug tests, nothing. Okay? So you get this situation where this guy's, on probation. If they have the same kind of system in place down there, he scores high on one of these IQ tests, well, he's not going to see his probation officer either. And it really does depend on the level of supervision that is ordered as well. Now, in contrast, Adam Wanko is one of those people. Wanko is a 48-year-old cancer patient who had a medical marijuana card to legally possess cannabis when he was pulled over and thrown in a cage for having marijuana wax. He says, "I don't know if I'd be alive right now if I didn't have it. My doctor was going to cut me off of the treatment because I lost 80 pounds over a period of weeks, and I was emaciated. Luckily for Wanko, cannabis gave him back his appetite, so he was able to gain weight and continue the chemo. This plant is arguably responsible for saving Wanko's life, yet he was kidnapped and thrown in a cage for having it." He asked me if I had any drugs in the car, and I gave it to him. Wanko, or Wanko, however you say his damn name, said after he was pulled over, thinking he was well within his rights to have this substance. So he handed his medical card to the cop and told him about the marijuana. "I knew that he was going to want to see that," he said. Wanko confirmed it was cannabis oil and explained he had picked it up from a medical marijuana dispensary. When he came back, he informed me he was going to arrest me for possession of a narcotic. I thought he was joking at first, but he never said just kidding. So, why would they let a pedophile, a rapist, go with no jail time and stick a guy who was simply trying to save his own life in prison? Could it be that they don't value human life at all? I mean, on one hand, you have this guy here who destroyed the life of a 14-year-old girl, giving her, depression and anxiety problems. After something like this happens, you're never the same again. A piece of you dies. A piece of you is gone, never to return. So one could make the argument that this whole thing is anti-human in the first place. Anti-human. And we have lots of Christians out there who will criticize Lucifer for being anti-human, and at the same time they worship a government they're not supposed to be worshiping, who is what? Anti-human. Makes me really really fucking sad, people. It really does. And I had a commenter in a video earlier about my vaccine video. They said, this is terrifying. Don't be terrified. Don't be. Stare evil in the face and do not fucking flinch. This is what you're going to be judged on when you die, and nothing else. None of this bullshit that you're taught through your life. What will decide where you go, where your soul will end up, is whether you faced the evil of this world or not. Till next time, kill the state before the state kills you.